Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. Just one day away from Super Tuesday, we've got state and national news to talk about. Andy's got the rundown.
Sam, this morning we talked to Sheila Leslie. She and the other Democrats in the Assembly have an idea for helping small businesses get health insurance. And then there's gold in them thar hills. We know that, but the price is even going up. We talked to Russ from the Nevada Mining Association. Sam?
And coming up on the Power Pundit panel today, Bob Crowell, John Gwaltney, and Joe Guild. It's all coming up next on the all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
The Abowed family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Catch a straight, dine at 8. Lucky you. Lucky you. Dance till 1. Have some fun. Lucky you. Lucky you. Taste the shrimp. Have a sip. Try the pool. Play it cool. At the Sienna Hotel Spa Casino. Lucky you.
Yeah! In business, the key to success is not the quantity of your clients, it's the quality of your clients. Almost all companies will tell you they want more sales, but what they really need are quality customers who pay their bills on time. With Employer Link's Client Vendor Screening Program, we provide comprehensive reports regarding the financial performance of your corporate prospects, customers, and vendors. Build your business with great clients and vendors. Call Employer Links today at 883-3733.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years. Call 882-1700 to see what we can do for your organization.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad, political analyst Ande Engleman on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the News 4 Broadcast Center, here's Sam Shad.
And we welcome to Nevada Newsmakers Assemblywoman Sheila Leslie. Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, Sheila. Now, there was a press conference held last week or the week before with Barbara Buckley and a lot of the Assembly Democrats to announce a plan that's going to bring health insurance to small businesses. Can you fill us in on that?
Right. There's a new subcommittee of the Health Committee that is looking into taking some of the money that Nevada has been promised by the federal government. It's called the S-CHIP money, $91 million over 5 years, and using some of that by matching it with money that we spend in the state on indigent health care to create a small business insurance pool. Right now, about 20% of Nevadans do not have health insurance. Of that 20%, more than 80, I think it's 82%, are people who are working. So we think that small businesses is a great insurance expansion effort because those are the businesses that can't afford to provide health insurance to their employees.
Okay, what about businesses, that are very small, that have perhaps one or even two employees? Are they going to get covered as well? Because we did a little search in our own company to find insurance for just one person and their wife, and nobody wanted to even give us a bid.
Right, and when you can't get a bid, it's just prohibitive. Yes, they would be.
Completely prohibitive.
From my perspective, we are definitely looking at those kind of one-person, two-person small businesses because right now those are the people who have to use the emergency room as their primary health care or have to pay out of their pocket and aren't able to get health insurance. Right now in Nevada, most of the businesses that employ more than 100 people do provide a health insurance option. But for low-income workers, even in those large employers, a lot of times they can't afford the copay or the insurance premium. So it's really a problem. The less money you earn, the less likely you are to be able to get health insurance.
Now this S-CHIP money, what would that ordinarily be used for?
Well, for the S-CHIP program, the Nevada Checkup, the Children's Health Insurance Program, we are not using up all of our federal allotment. So what we'll be doing is asking for a waiver, saying since we can't use all that money in Nevada, let us use it for this other health insurance expansion option. Many states in the West have done this already.
So what happens if the feds say no or the federal money gets cut back?
Well, then we wouldn't be able to do it because that's what we're basing the insurance program on. We spend a lot of money in Nevada, though, on indigent health care, and the way it works is if you can match that money with the federal money, then they'll let you bring that money in. And this is not one of the waiver programs that's looking at being cut back. It's there. We haven't used it. It's an underutilized program, so it'll be a real win for Nevada.
Now, what happens, though, next? I mean, does this have to go through the next legislative session to become a reality?
Sure.
So we're talking a couple of years down the road before we see it, right?
Well, at least a year and a half. So yeah, almost a couple of years by the time our process works. This subcommittee, though, is working very quickly. We have our next meeting on March 12th, and we hope to have a report out by this summer.
Okay, now this meeting, March the 12th, if people want to attend that, it's going to be at the legislature?
It will be teleconferenced. I'll be in Carson City. All the rest of the members are from Las Vegas, so everyone else will be in Las Vegas, I'm sure.
Let me ask you a quick question about insurance. There are situations, and I certainly experienced this myself over the last year, of where you have insurance, it's covered 100% according to the insurance company, but the doctor's office refuses to accept that amount that's negotiated on a regional basis and charges more. Is there any protection for the consumer that way?
We've been looking into that in another committee I serve on. It's really a problem. There are a lot of federal regulations, and it depends on what kind of insurance, whether you have an HMO, whether it's private insurance, but that is a common complaint that we receive, that people are expected to pay the difference, and that sure doesn't seem fair. If you're going to have insurance and pay insurance, the premiums, you should be able to get back the insurance coverage when you need it. I also have a problem with the fact that substance abuse and mental health care very often is not included in the insurance. Yet that's one of the most expensive services that people need and can prevent a whole host of problems.
But that's very much upfront. And when you get your insurance policy, it says quite clearly that those kind of things are not covered.
But people usually don't have a choice when they have to take the package their employer provides, and if it's not there, they can't get it.
Right.
I have a quick question. In the last couple of weeks, we've heard about 3 different agencies where really they've abused the use of funds. It's a Veterans Administration, and while they think all the money's there, they're not sure where it is exactly. The Economic Development did advertising contracts without putting it out to bid as per state law, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We're talking about wasted tax dollars here. What do you and Ways and Means do about that when we get into the next session?
Well, the legislative auditors are doing their job, so I find that it's good news when they come back with a report that lays out very clearly where the deficiencies in state government are. I'm an alternate on the audit committee, and I was able to go to one meeting, and I was amazed at the information that comes out of there. And the people on that subcommittee do serve on Ways and Means and Senate Finance, so now I really do understand how we will use the information to hold the agencies accountable when they come back and ask them to address exactly where they are in those audit findings, and we certainly will be doing that.
One last question here. You know, a couple of months ago I asked the Democrats on this panel what they stood for, and they couldn't really give us an answer as Democrats. Now all of a sudden there seems to be a coalescing of thoughts, ideas, and excitement. How do you feel?
There's a lot of excitement on the ground. I've been out walking my district already, and I'm telling you, people care about health care, they care about education, and those are Democratic issues that we're going to win on in November.
And quickly, Brian Sandoval is expected to come out today with his opinion on whether or not public employees can hold an elected office.
In 2 minutes, actually. We're taping this at 9:30.
Yes, right. And so, will you run again if he comes out and says they can't?
I'll certainly run again. I think it's going to be a shame if we're saying that a citizen legislature in Nevada no longer can be a citizen legislature. If we're saying we're taking away the people's choice in candidates and saying you can't have a policeman, you can't have a fireman, you can't have a teacher serve in the legislature, I think that's wrong. I'll run again, and then I guess I'll have to make my decision if I win.
Okay, Sheila Leslie, always a pleasure. Thanks for being here. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers with Russ Fields after this.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. Toucan Charlie's Buffet and Grill, voted Reno's best buffet by locals year after year. Experience the Mongolian barbecue, new Asian station, and sumptuous exhibition stations filled with fresh entrees, salads, and desserts. Try the Friday night seafood buffet and Sunday champagne brunch.
Atlantis.
Would you like to savor a Trento pork chop? Or maybe pasta rags with grilled chicken? Hugo's Tuscan Grill at DeAndrea is a celebration of color, flavor, and freshness. Each dish is created from natural, wholesome foods that is delicious and nutritious. Hugo's is a comfortable restaurant with breathtaking city views. If you enjoy great food and good company, visit us here at Hugo's. It's the best that dining can be. 2900 South DeAndrea Parkway in Sparks.
Allegra is Northern Nevada's #1 offset printing and digital copying facility.
From disc to destination, Allegra utilizes tomorrow's technology today. We specialize in booklets, catalogs, manuals, newsletters, stationery, and envelopes.
Xerox, Docutech, 4-color printing with Heidelberg Speedmaster, desktop publishing and design, graphic services, pickup and delivery.
If you need printing, Allegra can do it. From disc to destination.
To experience the royal cuisine of India, you need some serious magic or simply transport yourself to India Garden, right here in Reno, where you'll discover Indian specialties refined over centuries. Sikh kebab, tandoori dishes cooked in our own tandoor oven, biryani specialties, curries, fresh-baked Indian bread, over a dozen vegetarian dishes, even dishes rare to India like dosa, South Indian-style crepes. India Garden off South Virginia near Sports West. We are India.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
Back on Nevada Newsmakers, we welcome to the program Russ Fields, who heads up the Nevada Mining Association. Real pleasure to have you on, one of our major industries in the state. How is the health of the mining industry?
Well, the health of the mining industry is improving, probably dramatically. We've seen an increase in the price of gold and some of our other mineral products, so it is improving. So we're happy to say things are better than they were.
Communities like Ely, Elko, Winnemucca, Battle Mountain all depend on mining. What news can you bring for those folks?
Well, I think right now there's a lot of exploration going on. That is, new projects looking for additional ore reserves or new deposits. And while it does take some time to bring one of those into production, probably 3 to 5 years, in that sort of window of time, we should see another round of growth in the mining industry.
So does that mean that, for instance, I know that Elko is sort of it's boom and bust, you know, there sometimes with all the people coming in. Does it mean we're looking at possibly another boom cycle?
I don't think it will be a boom in the sense of, you know, thousands of new jobs. I think it will be steady growth.
Oh, well,
which is always better than the booms.
Right, exactly. In the last session of the legislature, Russ, the Mining Association was somewhat in favor of, I guess, the gross receipts tax, and correct me if I'm wrong in this.
We supported the governor's position, which through all of the regular session and through the first special session was gross receipts seemed to make the most sense as a broad-based business tax. But then when it was clear that the legislature could only get through something that included the payroll tax, and the governor said this does make sense from a broad-based standpoint, we stayed with the governor on that point as well. Okay,
major casino executives are already talking about revisiting the tax situation and putting more taxes on business again in the next go-around. Does the Mining Association have any stomach for this fight?
No.
We've heard that from a number of groups.
You know, I served on the tax policy task force, as you know. Our first task was to identify whether indeed there really was a need for additional revenues for the state of Nevada. We thought that there was. We thought that it was going to become very clear in about 2005 that we needed a different source of revenues or an additional source of revenues for the state of Nevada's government. We think that the legislature realized that, they agreed with that, they did differ in how to fill that need, and that was such a tough session. Hopefully with the increase in sales tax that we've saw reported this weekend, we won't have to spend a lot of time in the 2005 legislative session on taxes, but
now the payroll tax, that really hurts mining, doesn't it? Because you pay excellent wages, as I recall.
We do. It was not our favorite tax, but we also pay substantial benefits, health care benefits, and we were happy that the legislature did want to encourage businesses that do provide those kind of benefits, so there is somewhat of a deduction there. But whatever was going to happen through this legislative session, the mining industry knew that it was going to step up and pay additional taxes, like we always have.
There were some plans for a while to build an additional power plant in northeast Nevada, mostly a lot for the benefit for the mining companies out there. Is those plans still in the works, or?
The plans are still in the works. There was a plan to build a plant in a place called Boulder Valley that has now been set aside, but I understand that there's a lot of negotiations and discussion going on with outside power plant builders. Yes, that'll probably become a reality someday.
Yeah, there appears to be both White Pine County and even here in northern Nevada, or
that's
this
what
portion
I
of
was
northern
talking
Nevada.
about,
We could see another plant coming in. Okay, there's always the battle between the environmentalists and the mining industry. Where do you guys sit at this point?
We think we do a very admirable job in taking care of the environment. We spend literally millions and millions of dollars in protecting water, wildlife, reclaiming the land. I couldn't have said that prior to about 1990. The state of Nevada did adopt a reclamation law and some other water pollution control laws in the very early 90s that are working well. In fact, Nevada is held out as a model as far as how to protect the environment with mining, as well as allow mining to proceed.
Does that mean we're number one on a list? On a good list?
We are. In fact, in the United States, Nevada is by far number one in the mining rankings. We just recently saw a report from a Canadian think tank called the Fraser Institute that identified Nevada, just the state of Nevada, as the second most favorable place in the world to operate mines and to explore.
Let me ask you one very quick question, just so our viewers who may not realize this. How do we compare worldwide in terms of the mining we have in this in this state?
When you talk about gold production, which about 90% of our mineral revenues in the state of Nevada are from gold, it places Nevada third in the world behind South Africa, Australia, and then the state of Nevada.
It's big business. We're out of time. Please come back. Whether you're Russ Fields, Nevada Mining Association. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers with the Pundits. Oh, they're warming up over there right after this.
Before you head to Carson, take care of yourself with a visit to Tamarack Junction. Catch a hot cup of coffee and the morning news on one of our 32 TVs and enjoy the best food in South Reno. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
The Abowd family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Your home is an expression of all things comforting and familiar. For custom storage, you can count on California Closets to provide quality, value, and design integrity. The process is easy, combining your personal style with our organizing expertise. We care about what matters most to you, making your home functional and beautiful. California Closets, simplifying home and life since 1978. Call today for your complimentary design consultation.
When you sign up for Wells Fargo free checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Make your daily commute easy with breakfast or lunch at the Tamarack Junction. Enjoy daily specials, super fast service, and South Reno's freshest morning meals. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're joined by our pundit panel today, Joe Guild, Bob Crowell, and John Gwaltney. Ande, it's up to you.
Okay, I want to pick up where we left off last week with the school board in Carson City. Bob, you made a suggestion that you open up union negotiations there on salaries.
I did, and there was the unions made a presentation during the open session last Tuesday night, and at the end of that session, the chairman of the president of the school board said that negotiations pursuant to the bargaining units agreement or the bargaining teams agreements was to be confidential, and that they're not going to say anything. My own personal view is it's still there's a fair amount of merit in opening up negotiations.
If someone brought a bill in the next session of the legislature, would you as a person support it?
I'd give serious thought to doing that, because I think that, one, I may not know all the nuances of the good and the bad. I mean, I was told, that one of the reasons why you don't want to do this is because when you bring the media into negotiations, people start negotiating with the media and not negotiating with each other. I understand that, and maybe that's the rationale for not doing it. But on the other hand, this is the public's money, it's the public's kids, and in times when there's a fair amount of confusion as to what's going on, open it up.
And let me tell you, from the media perspective, covering these things is deadly boring, and it's the last assignment most reporters want.
Well, I would support opening it up as well. I think the question here is, you have a large percentage of the budgets of each of these schools committed opening day. Where is the margin you're supposed to work this detail out with? And of course, I come back to the fact that the amount of money that we put into public education was insufficient. The large tax increase didn't go there.
That's, we were talking before the show. The money's not in the coffers in Carson City, I'll tell you that. And so there's going to have to be some other choices, and those choices are not easy to make. There's going to be some choices to be made if we're going to go forward.
Those might be boring meetings, Ande, but the most important decisions that any public policy group makes are at the school board, I think. So.
Jump in here, Joe, because you represent a lot of companies that have to pay the taxes for education.
Well, I've got a lot of kids too, and my wife's a school teacher.
So Joe is definitely involved.
So definitely involved in many, many ways. So.
And he's contributing copy paper to his wife's school.
Yeah, anecdotally, my wife's a first-year teacher, and she had to spend a good part of her bonus, her signing bonus, for materials that weren't there. Now, nothing against the school that she's involved in, and she's got a great principal, but the supplies don't get to the classroom. That's wrong.
But I think we ended up with a large tax increase. I think the general public thinks the thing's fixed. The fact of the matter is it's not close to being fixed.
There you go.
And I don't know how you tell them other than open this up and say to them, it's not the teacher's fault.
Well,
it's not the board's fault.
We're going to have George Harris on later on this week. It'll be interesting to see if he agrees we need to raise more taxes.
Yeah.
And we heard Russ Field say that the Mining Association has no stomach for going through this tax fight again. Do any of you? Do you think anybody has any appetite for it?
Well, I don't see the appetite coming down for that. But I know that there's a couple initiatives that are out there, one on taxes and one repealing taxes. But frankly, I think that the tax issue for the next session is dead.
I totally agree.
Unless there's an initiative success.
Well, gaming certainly doesn't seem to think that,
if you
gentlemen.
think about what happened in Oregon, where the voters overturned the tax increases, it's still in political play, I think.
I think you're absolutely right. It is in play. But it's not a question of new tax. It's a question of redistributing the money we did previously and getting it where it needed to be.
Well, and I wouldn't disagree with you there. I want to change things to what's going on nationally here. Super Tuesday coming up tomorrow. Is everybody in agreement here that Kerry has it, or can Edwards pull off a miracle that would put him back in the race?
Well, I know who I'd vote for. I'd vote for Kucinich's brain, Sharpton's humor, Edwards' charm, and Kerry's experience.
Okay,
he wrote that.
Yeah,
that's prepared material.
That's great.
Pretty good. That's Mr. Balance over here.
I want that candidate.
Okay, Bob?
Well, I think that the bell is already rung for Kerry, and even though Edwards has got some momentum, maybe in Ohio and places like that, I think that Kerry's Kerry's going to be the nominee.
What happens? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I certainly agree.
Okay, and we know the Washoe County Democrats are meeting tomorrow night, and they're going to be talking about their platform in preparation for the state convention. And their topic is anybody but Bush. What does this mean? I mean, other than they don't want Bush. But
I don't think that's enough to get a candidate into the presidency. There has to be some policies that the voters connect with.
Boy, I agree with that. I agree with exactly with Joe, and I think that this race, no matter what you think about right now, this race is going to come down neck and neck to the wire.
That's right.
And
well, you know, New York Times yesterday said Bush strategists now expect to trail Kerry or run even through the summer.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
and
going to be a tough fight.
Remember, when Ronald Reagan ran for re-election, Michael Dukakis led him in July by 18 points. So I agree with Bob that this will come to the wire, and the base will be the important thing, who gets out the most of their base, because the middle is so narrow anymore.
I have the winning strategy for John Kerry. He must personally catch Osama. If he does that, he's got it locked. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
It's America's largest historical district, and it's fun for the entire family. Virginia City is where the West comes alive every day, from train rides to gunslingers. Your gang can explore mines and interesting museums, visit historic saloons, and do some great shopping. Virginia City is the ultimate in family entertainment, and it's very affordable. Come up and stay overnight in our hotels, motels, and RV park. Virginia City, the Wild West at its best.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seemed to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. Toucan Charlie's Buffet and Grill, voted Reno's best buffet by locals year after year. Experience the Mongolian barbecue, new Asian station, and sumptuous exhibition stations filled with fresh entrees, salads, and desserts. Try the Friday night seafood buffet and Sunday champagne brunch.
Atlantis.
When you sign up for Wells Fargo free checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
And tomorrow we have Mrs. Gwynn, Nevada's First Lady, and more on the bordellas in Story County.
We'll see you.
Thank you for watching.